and we went back to basics. And after going back to basics, the reason we had failed is because we had tried to define one operating system for two distinct business models, being food solutions and bakeries. So the strategic decision was made that we had to split them up at the front end. You could still have up the back end and HR and IT and all that stuff done from a central base through a central ERP system or a global one, which was SAP, which you had to have the operating model separate. And that made total sense. We built some really good business plans around bringing in new branded concepts, about bringing what we were doing really well in Ireland to Switzerland to Germany, what we were doing really well in France into the other food solutions or food service sectors that we had deep penetration in. And bakeries would become a supplier to food solutions, but had to go through a kind of an independent process to make sure what it was selling, it was capable of selling, it was efficient at producing, and it was market best price. So that was better for both models, because when you were over both and you saw a food solutions business selling, let's just say 10 million in a bread range, and you looked at your factories and you said, we're not selling any of that 10 million from our own factories into the food solutions business. And then you try and force that in. What you typically did was you put inefficiencies into your own bakeries and you became inefficient on the food solutions side because you weren't able to buy it at the best price, right?
Right.
So by splitting them, you left the two P&Ls stand on their own 2 feet, and you made both of them stronger and more efficient. And there was some real excitement about it at the time. And I would have.
What are we talking about now? What year are we talking now?
We're talking now about 2013, 14, I'd say.
Right.
So Arista was formed in 2008. Arista in North America started becoming one in about 2009 or 10. We tried it and failed. It took us a couple of years to catch up. And then we put the two models in place, I think around 2013-ish. But there was clear, distinct plans, and since that, I'm not sure. I think they've put them back together. So you've lost the whole strategy around keeping them separate. And the other thing I think you've lost, because one of the things which was clearly quite possible at the time was you now had a distinct operating model, or two operating models in Europe, and you could easily have divested of one without impacting on the other. Yeah?
Right.
Whereas by putting them back together, I don't know, it's a lot more difficult to kind of say, look, we are a bakeries business. Arista is now going to become a bakeries business, and much as we love the food solutions business, we're going to exit it because we can get a lot of value out of it.
Yeah, that's the issue. Okay. Well, that's very helpful. If the food solution, well, you just said that the food solution business, if it was split off, previously it could have been done quite straightforward, fairly easily. But you think now it's more difficult? It would be more.
I think it's more difficult, but I think with the right plan, it could still be done. So
right.
If you think about the parts of it, the warehouses and the trucks and the reps and the front end must still be separate. They can only be bringing them together at a kind of a middle management, senior management level. But I would imagine if they've country CEOs and country leads, they're probably over both models, and there probably is a little bit of a confusion. What we had created was a distinct Chinese wall, and I mean a real good Chinese wall. Like I remember having to sit in meetings where two colleagues wouldn't talk to each other. There was real friction, but good friction between the bakeries and the food solutions. Because the two guys are sitting in the same office block in Paris, and one guy's saying, he's not buying any of my bread. And they're saying, yeah, but you went through the tender process and you weren't good enough. So go back and fix your lines, get more efficient, and come back in 6 months' time and we'll tender it again, because we can't mess up one business or the other. So it was a good Chinese wall, and it was driving positive signs in both. So it should